a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Hezbollah. Hezbollah, also transliterated Hizbullah, Hizballah, etc., is a Shi'a Islamist political party and militant group based in Lebanon. Hezbollah's paramilitary wing is the Jihad Council, and its political wing is loyalty to the Resistance Bloc party in the Lebanese parliament. After the death of Abbas al-Musawi in 1992, the group has been headed by Hassan Nasrallah, its Secretary General. The group is considered a terrorist organization by the governments of the United States, Israel, Canada, the Arab League, the Gulf Cooperation Council, along with its military/security wing by the United Kingdom, Australia and the European Union. After the Israeli invasion of Lebanon in 1982 in support of the Free Lebanon State, Israel occupied a strip of South Lebanon, which was controlled by the South Lebanon Army, a Lebanese Christian militia supported by Israel. Hezbollah was founded in the early 1980s as part of an Iranian effort to aggregate a variety of militant Lebanese Shi'a groups under one roof. Hezbollah acts as a proxy for Iran in the ongoing Iran-Israel proxy conflict. Hezbollah was conceived by Muslim clerics and funded by Iran primarily to harass the Israeli occupation. Its leaders were followers of Ayatollah Khomeini, and its forces were trained and organized by a contingent of 1,500 Revolutionary Guards that arrived from Iran with permission from the Syrian government, which was in occupation of Lebanon at the time. Hezbollah's 1985 manifesto listed its objectives as the expulsion of the Americans, the French and their allies definitely from Lebanon, putting an end to any colonialist entity on our land, submission of the phalangists to just power, and bringing them to justice for the crimes they have perpetrated against Muslims and Christians, and permitting all the sons of our people to choose the form of government they want, while calling on them to pick the option of Islamic government. Hezbollah waged a guerrilla campaign in South Lebanon, and as a result, Israel withdrew from Lebanon on the 24th of May 2000, and SLA collapsed and surrendered. Backed by Iran, Hezbollah fighters fought against Serbian forces during the Bosnian War. Hezbollah's military strength has grown so significantly that its paramilitary wing is considered more powerful than the Lebanese army. Hezbollah has been described as a state within a state, and has grown into an organization with seats in the Lebanese government, a radio and a satellite TV station, social services and large-scale military deployment of fighters beyond Lebanon's borders. Hezbollah is part of the March 8th alliance within Lebanon. In opposition to the March 14th alliance, Hezbollah maintains strong support among Lebanon's Shia population, while Sunnis have disagreed with the group's agenda. Hezbollah also finds support from within some Christian areas of Lebanon that are Hezbollah strongholds. Hezbollah receives military training, weapons, and financial support from Iran, and political support from Syria. Hezbollah and Israel fought each other in the 2006 Lebanon War. After the 2006-08 Lebanese protests and clashes, a national unity government was formed in 2008, with Hezbollah and its opposition allies obtaining 11 of 30 cabinet seats, which gives them veto power. In August 2008, Lebanon's new cabinet unanimously approved a draft policy statement which recognized Hezbollah's existence as an armed organization and guarantees its right to liberate or recover occupied lands. Since 2012, Hezbollah has helped the Syrian government during the Syrian civil war in its fight against the Syrian opposition, which Hezbollah has described as a Zionist plot and a Wahhabi Zionist conspiracy to destroy its alliance with Assad against Israel. It has deployed its militia in both Syria and Iraq to fight or train local forces to fight against ISIS, once seen as a resistance movement throughout much of the Arab world. This image upon which the group's legitimacy rested has been severely damaged due to the sectarian nature of the Syrian civil war in which it has become embroiled. Foundation. After the Israeli invasion of Lebanon in 1982, Israel occupied a strip of South Lebanon, which was controlled by the South Lebanon Army, a militia supported by Israel. Hezbollah was conceived by Muslim clerics and funded by Iran primarily to harass the Israeli occupation. Its leaders were followers of Ayatollah Khomeini, and its forces were trained and organized by a contingent of 1,500 Revolutionary Guards that arrived from Iran with permission from the Syrian government, which was in occupation of Lebanon at the time. Scholars differ as to when Hezbollah came to be a distinct entity. Various sources list the official formation of the group as early as 1982, whereas Diaz and Newman maintain that Hezbollah remained an amalgamation of various violent Shia extremists until as late as 1985. Another version states that it was formed by supporters of Sheikh Ragheb Harb, a leader of the southern Shia resistance killed by Israel in 1984. Regardless of when the name came into official use, a number of Shia groups were slowly assimilated into the organization, such as Islamic Jihad, Organization of the Oppressed on Earth, and the Revolutionary Justice Organization. These designations are considered to be synonymous with Hezbollah by the US, Israel and Canada. 1980s. Hezbollah emerged in South Lebanon during a consolidation of Shia militias as a rival to the older Amal movement. Hezbollah played a significant role in the Lebanese Civil War, opposing American forces in 1982-83 and opposing Amal in Syria during the 1985-88 War of the Camps. However, Hezbollah's early primary focus was ending Israel's occupation of southern Lebanon following Israel's 1982 invasion and siege of Beirut. Amal, the main Lebanese Shia political group, initiated guerrilla warfare. In 2006, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak stated, "When we entered Lebanon, there was no Hezbollah. We were accepted with perfumed rice and flowers by the Shia in the south. It was our presence there that created Hezbollah." Hezbollah waged an asymmetric war using suicide attacks against the Israel Defense Forces and Israeli targets outside of Lebanon. Hezbollah is reputed to have been among the first Islamic resistance groups in the Middle East to use the tactics of suicide bombing, assassination, and capturing foreign soldiers, as well as murders and hijackings. Hezbollah also employed more conventional military tactics and weaponry, notably Katyusha rockets and other missiles. At the end of the Lebanese Civil War in 1990, despite the Taif Agreement asking for the disbanding of all Lebanese and non-Lebanese militias, Syria, which controlled Lebanon at that time, allowed Hezbollah to maintain their arsenal and control Shia areas along the border with Israel. After 1990. In the 1990s, Hezbollah transformed from a revolutionary group into a political one, in a process which is described as the Lebanonization of Hezbollah. Unlike its uncompromising revolutionary stance in the 1980s, Hezbollah conveyed a lenient stance towards the Lebanese state. In 1992, Hezbollah decided to participate in elections, and Ali Khamenei, supreme leader of Iran, endorsed it. Former Hezbollah Secretary General, Subi al-Tufayli, contested this decision, which led to a schism in Hezbollah. Hezbollah won all 12 seats which were on its electoral list. At the end of that year, Hezbollah began to engage in dialogue with Lebanese Christians. Hezbollah regards cultural, political, and religious freedoms in Lebanon as sanctified, although it does not extend these values to groups who have relations with Israel. In 1997, Hezbollah formed the multi-confessional Lebanese brigades to fighting the Israeli occupation in an attempt to revive national and secular resistance against Israel, thereby marking the Lebanonization of resistance. The Lebanese Daily Star newspaper reported on the 14th of April 2014 that 3 Hezbollah members had been arrested in Thailand. The information was obtained from a specialist Thai intelligence website that identified a Thai citizen, Yiod, described as a Hezbollah member working out of a unit in East Asia, while the 2 Lebanese nationals that were arrested, D. Farhat and B. Bassoon, were considered suspects. Islamic Jihad Organization, IJO. Whether the Islamic Jihad Organization was a nom de guerre used by Hezbollah or a separate organization, is disputed. According to certain sources, IJO was identified as merely a telephone organization, and whose name was used by those involved to disguise their true identity. Hezbollah reportedly also used another name, Islamic Resistance, for attacks against Israel. A 2003 American court decision found IJO was the name used by Hezbollah for its attacks in Lebanon, parts of the Middle East and Europe. The US, Israel and Canada consider the names Islamic Jihad Organization, Organization of the Oppressed on Earth, and the Revolutionary Justice Organization to be synonymous with Hezbollah. Ideology. Back in the 1980s, the ideology of Hezbollah was described as radical. It is presented in the 1985 manifesto. The first objective was fighting against American and Israeli imperialism, freedom of the occupied southern Lebanon, and all other occupied territories. The second objective was to gather all Muslims in the concept of Ummah. Then Lebanon would continue the 1979 revolution of Iran. It also declared it would protect all Lebanese communities except the ones which collaborated with Israel, and supported all national movements, Muslim or non-Muslim, throughout the world. The ideology has been changed, and today Hezbollah is a left-wing political entity focused on social injustice. The ideology of Hezbollah has been summarized as Shi'a radicalism. Hezbollah follows the Islamic Shi'a theology developed by Iranian leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Hezbollah was largely formed with the aid of the Ayatollah Khomeini's followers in the early 1980s in order to spread Islamic revolution, and follows a distinct version of Islamic Shi'a ideology developed by Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, leader of the Islamic Revolution in Iran. Although Hezbollah originally aimed to transform Lebanon into a formal Fakhri Islamic Republic, this goal has been abandoned in favor of a more inclusive approach. 1985 Manifesto. On the 16th of February 1985, Sheikh Ibrahim al-Amin issued Hezbollah's manifesto. Translated excerpts from Hezbollah's original 1985 manifesto read: "We are the sons of the Ummah. We are an Ummah linked to the Muslims of the whole world by the solid doctrinal and religious connection of Islam, whose message God wanted to be fulfilled by the seal of the prophets, i.e., Prophet Muhammad. As for our culture, it is based on the Holy Quran, the Sunnah, and the legal rulings of the Faqih, who is our source of imitation." Attitudes, statements, and actions concerning Israel and Zionism. From the inception of Hezbollah to the present, the elimination of the State of Israel has been one of Hezbollah's primary goals. Some translations of Hezbollah's 1985 Arabic language manifesto state that, "Our struggle will end only when this entity, Israel, is obliterated." According to Hezbollah's Deputy General, Naim Qassem, the struggle against Israel is a core belief of Hezbollah, and the central rationale of Hezbollah's existence. Hezbollah says that its continued hostilities against Israel are justified as reciprocal to Israeli operations against Lebanon and as retaliation for what they claim is Israel's occupation of Lebanese territory. Israel withdrew from Lebanon in 2000, and their withdrawal was verified by the United Nations as being in accordance with Resolution 425 of the 19th of March 1978. However, Lebanon considers the Sheba Farms, a 26 square kilometers piece of land captured by Israel from Syria in the 1967 war and considered by the UN to be Syrian territory occupied by Israel, to be Lebanese territory. Additionally, Hezbollah claims that 3 Lebanese prisoners are being held in Israel. Finally, Hezbollah consider Israel to be an illegitimate state. For these reasons, they justify their actions as acts of defensive jihad. Attitudes and actions concerning Jews and Judaism. Hezbollah officials have said, on rare occasions, that it is only anti-Zionist and not anti-Semitic. However, according to scholars, these words do not hold up upon closer examination. Among other actions, Hezbollah actively engages in Holocaust denial and spreads anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Various anti-Semitic statements have been attributed to Hezbollah officials. Amal Saad Ghorayeb, a Lebanese political analyst, argues that although Zionism has influenced Hezbollah's anti-Judaism, it is not contingent upon it, because Hezbollah's hatred of Jews is more religiously motivated than politically motivated. Robert S. Wistrich, a historian specializing in the study of anti-Semitism, described Hezbollah's ideology concerning Jews. The anti-Semitism of Hezbollah leaders and spokesmen combines the image of seemingly invincible Jewish power and cunning with the contempt normally reserved for weak and cowardly enemies. Like the Hamas propaganda for holy war, that of Hezbollah has relied on the endless vilification of Jews as enemies of mankind, conspiratorial, obstinate, and conceited adversaries full of satanic plans to enslave the Arabs. It fuses traditional Islamic anti-Judaism with Western conspiracy myths, Third Worldist anti-Zionism, and Iranian Shiite contempt for Jews as ritually impure and corrupt infidels. Sheikh Fadlallah typically insists that Jews wish to undermine or obliterate Islam and Arab cultural identity in order to advance their economic and political domination. Conflicting reports say Al-Mana, the Hezbollah-owned and operated television station, accused either Israel or Jews of deliberately spreading HIV and other diseases to Arabs throughout the Middle East. Al-Mana was criticized in the West for airing anti-Semitic propaganda in the form of a television drama depicting a Jewish world domination conspiracy. The group has been accused by American analysts of engaging in Holocaust denial. In addition, during its 2006 war, it apologized only for killing Israel's Arabs. In November 2009, Hezbollah pressured a private English-language school to drop reading excerpts from the diary of Anne Frank, a book of the writings from the diary kept by the Jewish child Anne Frank while she was in hiding with her family during the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands. This was after Hezbollah's Al-Mana television channel complained, asking how long Lebanon would remain an open arena for the Zionist invasion of education. Organization. At the beginning, many Hezbollah leaders have maintained that the movement was not an organization, for its members carry no cards and bear no specific responsibilities, and that the movement does not have a clearly defined organizational structure. Nowadays, as Hezbollah scholar Magnus Ranstorp reports, Hezbollah does indeed have a formal governing structure, and in keeping with the principle of guardianship of the Islamic jurists, it concentrates all authority and powers in its religious leaders, whose decisions then flow from the ulama down the entire community. The supreme decision-making bodies of the Hezbollah were divided between the Majlis al-Shura, which was headed by 12 senior clerical members with responsibility for tactical decisions and supervision of overall Hizballah activity throughout Lebanon, and the Majlis al-Shura al-Qara, headed by Sheikh Mohammed Hussein Fadlallah and composed of 11 other clerics with responsibility for all strategic matters. Within the Majlis al-Shura, there existed 7 specialized committees dealing with ideological, financial, military and political, judicial, informational and social affairs. In turn, the Majlis al-Shura and these 7 committees were replicated in each of Hizballah's 3 main operational areas. Since the supreme leader of Iran is the ultimate clerical authority, Hezbollah's leaders have appealed to him for guidance and directives in cases when Hezbollah's collective leadership was too divided over issues and failed to reach a consensus. After the death of Iran's first supreme leader, Khomeini, Hezbollah's governing bodies developed a more independent role and appealed to Iran less often. Since the Second Lebanon War, however, Iran has restructured Hezbollah to limit the power of Hassan Nasrallah and invested billions of dollars rehabilitating Hezbollah. Structurally, Hezbollah does not distinguish between its political/social activities within Lebanon and its military/jihad activities against Israel. Hezbollah has a single leadership, according to Naim Qassem, Hezbollah's second-in-command. All political, social and jihad work is tied to the decisions of this leadership. The same leadership that directs the parliamentary and government work also leads jihad actions in the struggle against Israel. In 2010, Iran's parliamentary speaker Ali Larijani said, "Iran takes pride in Lebanon's Islamic resistance movement for its steadfast Islamic stance. Hezbollah nurtures the original ideas of Islamic jihad." He also instead charged the West with having accused Iran with support of terrorism, and said, "The real terrorists are those who provide the Zionist regime with military equipment to bomb the people." Brought to you by WikiVidi documentaries. Would you like to know more?